Welcome to Better Life, Better Business, your go-to podcast for how you can grow your business, double your productivity and time off, work smarter and not harder. Brought to you by local business coaching expert Christoph Nauer, CEO of Balance 6 in Walnut Creek, California.
Welcome back to Better Life, Better Business with business coach and time management expert Christoph Nauer of Balance 6. Christoph is also an Amazon best-selling author of the new book, From No Time to Free Time, 6 Steps to Work-Life Balance for Business Owners, and was just given the Authors Award from Take Center Stage. I'm your host, Rebecca Troxel, founder and CEO of Rebecca's Vault. Today, Christoph and I will be discussing how to get started in achieving the coveted work-life balance. Christoph, why is it so important to even have work-life balance? I've heard some people say that doesn't even exist.
Well, if you tell yourself it doesn't exist, then you probably start believing that, that's really what it boils down to. When we tell ourselves, eventually starts living in our subconscious mind. And as I said before, 95% of everything we do is driven by the subconscious mind. So a lot of us are going to face situations in our lives where we feel like work has just taken over everything and way too much and so forth. So in those challenging times, when many people have to adapt to work differently, it can be even more important to set healthy boundaries around work. So looking at things in terms of work-life balance, how your time and energy is divided across different aspects of your life really can help.
Why do we really need to have work-life balance, though? Anyone who has ever been in sales, again, has a boss or two that has said that it's impossible to really achieve a balance of work and life.
Well, of course, the idea of making things perfectly equal in all areas of your life at once can be impossible.
Fair enough.
Time with family or friends and other out-of-work activities are all important to us. Sometimes you might really have to pay extra attention to your job, or you might feel that work has kept you from getting all the activities you want in your week. But when you spend too much of your energy constantly going to work, those effects can really add up. And over time, and I say the key phrase is, over time, there will be some negative consequences.
Now, why is that phrase right there, over time, so important?
Well, I think especially when you're younger, you feel invincible and you feel that you don't really need any time off and nothing can stop me. I'm the woman, I'm the man,
True.
I'm the woman, right?
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Exactly. Yes. And you probably hear that too,
Yep, all the time.
Right. So the problem is that a lack of work-life balance over a longer period of time can lead to burnout.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be dangerous. So it is important to recognize the symptoms ahead of time. Be proactive. We talked about that a lot, about being proactive. It may be difficult to recognize when you need to focus on restoring your work-life balance, but there are signs to look out for that you may not be aware of. Working for a long time without leaving your desk, checking emails when you need to be with your family or friends, working weekends, and having lunch or dinner at your desk. Those are all signs that you don't have a good work-life balance. So look at the way you spend your days. Do you do these things? If so, I think it's time to change that. It's also important to take note of how you feel physically, emotionally, and mentally.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I definitely used to be a person who ate a lot of lunches and dinners at my desk in the same day most of the time, actually. So I hear you on that. Okay, you've got us sold. Now, how do we get started on all this? Because I'm ready for work-life balance because I don't want to do any of those things anymore at all.
Glad you asked. I think one of the key components, and I would say the first thing that I recommend is to set boundaries at work and stick to them. And I know for a lot of folks, that's very hard to do. We want to be there for our clients. How do we tell the clients, not now, maybe later, or that's hard for most of us.
Yeah.
And technological advances make it possible for employers to offer flexible work environments a job that employees consider very important. But these advances can also mean that sometimes you're accessible 24/7.
Fair.
So that's, when technology drives us versus us driving technology, that's where the problem is. So here, sit down with your team and discuss what your expectations are and set limits. Tell them when you're available and how quickly they can expect a response to an email or a voicemail message. It's key is that you have to communicate this with your clients and your team. As long as you communicate, everybody's okay with that. If you don't communicate, or if you just let an email sit in your inbox for 2 weeks and without a response, that's where the problem is. So communicate and let folks know. If you and your team and your clients are clear about what to expect from each other, you're less likely to fail into the pattern of working around the clock.
That definitely makes sense. And it sounds like the perfect place to start. Boundaries are very, very reasonable things to have and set, for sure. So what would you say now that we have these boundaries set? What is moving on to step 2? How do we keep going now that we've empowered to say, these are my boundaries, let everybody know what they are. Now what do we do?
How about relax whenever you need to?
What?
I know it's a foreign concept, right?
Yeah.
Well, we all need time to be alone, to relax, and to wind down. Whatever that looks like, it's different for everybody. For me, at the end of the day, I love to sit in the backyard, just watch the birds go around, fly around, chase each other, watch the squirrels fight on the trees, and just sit there and do nothing. And yes, sip a beer. Taking some time off is nothing to be ashamed of and is actually an important part of being mentally and emotionally healthy. Even something as simple as reading a book or going out for a cup of coffee with a friend. I know the times are not very good about that right now, but that can do wonders for your emotional well-being. Plus, it'll help you feel like you're not spending all of your time at work. Yeah. Just remember to turn off the iPhone. I know, foreign concept again. Avoid all distractions and really enjoy your me time. I know you have heard that before.
For sure.
Then learn to let go of things. Try to be perfect and to be everything and to everyone only ensures failure. Okay, nobody can do that. And you heard me say this many times before. Learn to say no when something isn't good for your well-being. I mean, when Warren Buffett was asked what his, key to success was, that was his answer. Say no when something isn't good for your well-being. Cut the stuff out of your life that's stressing you out. The weight that will be lifted off your shoulders is likely to be heavier than you realized. And it will set you free from much more important things.
That all sounds very good, but that last one sounds a little bit easier said than done, letting things go and saying no. And I know that I have definitely struggled with that one, but I can also tell you that with practice over time, again, there's your key phrase, over time, it gets easier. But I really want to hear more about those important things that I would have more free time for. Let's talk about that.
Oh, you mean the whole idea of prioritizing your time. Yes. So, for instance, I had just had this conversation with a client earlier today. Do a brief assessment of your daily activities at the end of the day. How did you spend most of your time? What were you doing? Which parts of your day were the most productive and which one were the least productive? Are there any activities or people in your day that don't seem to add anything? If that's the case, cut them out. Your time is too valuable to squander on meaningless activities and people, and it's best spent elsewhere. Focus on the most critical task first and delegate as much as you possibly can. And another one, and I know for a lot of folks that's hard, ask for help and support.
Oh, ask for help. That's the hardest one.
We always just feel like, if we ask for help, that shows that we're not good enough, we're weak, or whatever else comes with that idea. But that's not true. Plus, first of all, people love to help. And if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
True.
So, we're more productive and happier in our lives when we have strong support system, when we have a network of people around us that help us and support us in any which way they can.
Yeah.
And, when you ask somebody, hey, can you please help me with that? What is the answer usually? Oh, I'd love to. What can I do for you? Right?
Yeah. True.
Well, we don't ask. So this is really critically important, that you have people who you can go to when times are tough. Learn to accept that sometimes your demands are greater than what you can shoulder, and ask those around you to help you. Again, as I say, it's not a sign of weakness to ask. In my personal opinion, it's actually a sign of strength. And people love to help.
Yep.
It makes them feel good. And as I said earlier, if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Correct.
We all competing. We all have competing demands in life. And the busier we get, the easier it is to get into an unbalanced life. Luckily, though, it's not too hard to hit the reset button. So look and see how you spend your day and how productive you are and what it is you do, and see what things you can cut out. And then try to implement those 5 steps that I listed. And we can go over them real quick one more time before we close. First of all, set boundaries and stick to them. Relax whenever you need to. Learn how to let go. Prioritize your time. And last but not least, ask for help and support.
And it's a very good point to remember that no matter where you are or how overwhelmed you feel or what's going on, if you need help with time management so that you can have more free time and feel less overwhelmed, you can always start immediately. It doesn't matter where you're at or how easy you think this will be. It's definitely something you can start. And like you said, hit the reset button, and every day is a fresh chance to manage your time a little bit better. And these 5 tips that you gave are going to be insanely helpful. Thank you, Christoph.
My pleasure. Glad to be there for you. Thanks.
Well, and if any of you need someone to be there for you or for someone you know, and you need some help and guidance on getting started in achieving your happy work-life balance, make sure you check out Christoph's website, balance6.biz. There, you can learn more about how to contact Christoph and get his free report, 5 Secrets for Putting Your Business Growth on Autopilot. Thank you for coming back and joining us. And until next time, use every day as a fresh start to balance and find a very happy life and a better business.
Thank you very much. And by the way, if you get my book, you can also get it from my website. It was just added. So
that's excellent.
All right. Till next time. Thanks a lot.
Bye, everyone.
This week's episode of Better Life, Better Business is brought to you by CA&C Video Productions. Since 1985, CA&C Video has been providing live streaming, event production, and analog to digital transfer services. They captured those life-changing moments, preserving your history for current and future generations. Because your history matters. Visit their website at cacvideo.com. Thank you so much for your sponsorship.
That's all for now. Thanks for listening to another episode of Better Life, Better Business with business and time management coach Christoph Nauer with Balance 6, the leading business and time management company in Northern California. Visit them at balance6.biz.